Everybody okay, guys? Just a note, we have no little markers today that say that we cannot curse, we cannot talk about sexual violence, and we cannot talk about any other shit that you would generally want to hear at a Game of Thrones panel.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about all of that. Hey.
Somewhat of a permission by some way, somewhere around here on the authority level, that you can move forward now that it's started.
Yes.
So we can get a good picture of what these guys draw. I want to see what these guys, the crowd that these guys can bring in. So people want to like.
So y'all can move forward if y'all like.
Let's get on the mat. Come on.
You are welcome to upgrade.
Hope you all don't mind us taking your photos here.
Give us a scream! I'm lobbyist. Thank you.
$10 each, just see Andy on the way out. He'll pay everybody $10 for that photo.
So, guys, what I'd like to do is start off this panel with something that I absolutely loved about Game of Thrones Season 8. All right? Not to mention the fact that I, myself, whenever I'm in King's Landing, in the season finale, I got to live one of my greatest dreams, and that was, as a Northman, as a Stark, okay, I got to storm the city of King's Landing with a mad Targaryen in fire, so payback, all right? But guys, what I want to do for you now is one of my favourite parts of Season 8 of Game of Thrones, which world exclusive, if you want to get your camera phones out to record this. Here we go, guys, and please feel free to join in. Guys, I am not, well, I'll say this, I'm no singer. Apologies for what you're about to see.
You're not going to sing.
Okay? Guys, if you want to join in, please do. Okay. High in the halls of the kings who are gone, Jenny would dance with her ghosts, the one she had lost and the one she had found, and the ones who had loved her the most, the ones who'd been gone for so very long. You couldn't remember their names. They spun her around all the damp old stones, spun away all her sorrow and pain. She never wanted to leave, never wanted to leave. Never wanted to leave, never wanted to leave, never wanted to leave, never wanted to leave. Game of Thrones fucking sing it! Yeah!
Sweet dude.
The Queen of the North!
Fucking class.
Right, guys, let's hit this off with our first question. What would you like to know? Any hands up if you've got a question?
Anything, guys, anything that you would like us to talk
Down
about?
the front.
Okay.
Hammer.
Well, my name's Hammer, so season 4, episode 9, Watchers on the Wall, when I brought the scythe down and killed all the dirty wildlings that we ended up befriending in the end anyway. But
For anybody that doesn't know, season 4 episode, whenever the wildlings are climbing up the wall and the big scythe comes down and wipes them all out, technically, that is the second biggest kill count in any one scene in Game of Thrones. And this man has it. Daenerys on the dragon is the only one that beats him. Come on.
That's my favorite scene.
Yep, said it again, guys. Hard Home's probably my favorite scene, the film. Just the variety that we had in that scene, from rowing the boats. Spent, a good week, maybe 7 days, practicing how to row a boat. Landing up on the shores of Hard Home, jumping out into the water and storming up to meet the Lord of Bones with Kit. Awesome scene to finish, and sort of even on from that, the wildlings coming in, the gates coming down. Epic scene. Yeah.
My favourite scene that I shot was season 6, episode 10, The Winds of Winter. It was the King of the North scene. So, guys, we arrived that morning to shoot the King of the North scene, and the first thing that they do is set the cameras up for the initial shot. So they might have like 3 cameras in operation at the one time. So they set the cameras up first, and then they move the extras into the room. Okay, so where I end up is actually halfway up the room. Okay, right behind me sit House Manderley. Across the way, House Glover. In front of me sit the Knights of the Vale, and across from the Knights of the Vale sit House Mormont, of course, led by 10-year-old Bella Ramsey, who played Lyanna Mormont. Who, by the way, you saw the documentary where I got Kit a Stark jacket. All the Mormonts got together and got Bella a Mormont jacket, so she has one of those as well.
Well deserved.
It's one of the tiniest jackets I have ever seen in my entire life. But we were there, and I was standing. Christoph Hivju, who plays Tormund, he's one of my favourite actors to actually work with as well. Yeah. He's standing there, and so Miguel Spanorchik, director, he comes down in the middle of the room. All the extras are in there, and he's describing, what he wants from the scene. So he's like, okay, guys, so what's going to happen here is that House Manderley, yeah, they're going to apologise for not turning up to the Battle of the Bastards, yeah, and then they're going to proclaim, Lord Manderley is going to proclaim Jon Snow the King in the North, yeah, so that's great. Then Lord Glover is going to do the exact same thing, guys, yeah. And what's going to happen, guys? He's going to apologise. He's going to say to Jon Snow, the King in the North, okay? So then, guys, it leads on to Lord Cerwyn. And Miguel just stopped talking as soon as he said Lord Cerwyn. And he said, that's right. That's right. Background. And that's the extras. He says, background. So we all look at him. And he says, background. Who's loud here? Who's loud? And I just went like this. I'm loud, Miguel. Right? Christoph Hivju, who's standing right beside me, he just leans in and he's like, oh. He is loud, Miguel. I just remember looking over at Christoph, right? I just looked over at him, and Christoph went, yeah. And I'm looking at him going, what the fuck, right? And then I looked at Miguel, and Miguel goes, Andrew, great. We've seen lots of you at the Battle of the Bastards. Andrew, Lord Cerwyn goes down on his knees and doesn't actually say the King in the North. So I was thinking maybe you could shout the King in the North at Jon Snow. In essence, Andrew, what I want you to do is proclaim Jon Snow the King in the North on behalf of the common soldier. Now, Andrew, is that something that you feel that you could do for me? And I'm going, yeah. And I turned around because Christoph's there with like 4 wildlings, and I know these guys really well, especially because I work with them on the television show Vikings as well. I turned around and I was like, they just went, holy shit, man. And I'm going, but as soon as I turned back around again, it was fucking on. But guys, I've read the book since I was 13 years old. Jon Snow is my favourite character in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Just to be able to call him the King of the North, it was amazing. You watched the documentary, guys, where I get Kit Harington a jacket. That was done for the 13-year-old me, because he had
Nearly done.
encapsulated Jon Snow perfectly, from what I knew from the books, from what I knew from his character, and that's why I got him that jacket, and it was one of the proudest moments of my life to give it to him. Next question, guys. Anybody? You did.
Mic down there, yeah.
Is the mic on? I guess you can
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought it'd be easier for everyone to hear from up here. So I've heard all about the 55 nights filming The Long Night. And can you just talk about some of the problems besides the cold? I heard one of the problems that they didn't expect was that all the porta potties froze for that night.
Well, do you?
About 500 extras, man, and nowhere to piss.
You just went round the back of Winterfell. I was alright.
I just don't go to the toilet when I'm doing extra work at all.
Yeah.
Hammer's got issues, doesn't like to pee in public. Like.
I have problems. I just don't like it.
I actually remember sitting on the side of the hill. We were right outside the side of Winterfell in Northern Ireland, and we were getting ready to go, and Miguel's like, "Okay, guys, okay, you're running from the dead. Not much explanation. You're running from zombies, yeah? So, guys," and he kept on talking, and then at the very end he goes, "Actually, everyone, I've just noticed," because we had a big storm front called the Beast in the East coming from Russia. Okay, and it was actually snowing in Northern Ireland. Before that, guys, it hadn't actually snowed since 2013, okay, in Northern Ireland. So it was actually snowing during the long night. It was that cold.
Minus 13 degrees.
Minus 13.
Celsius,
So
yeah.
we were there, and like, Miguel was like, "Guys, I've just noticed something. The snow is blowing the wrong way. Bring in the fans, right?" So you're talking about 14 pickup trucks. Each one had an industrial fan on the back of it. And they just lined up and they switched on, and they have like snow blowers in front of them. And like these things combated one of the worst storm fronts. So you were getting hit from the beast, from the east, from the left, getting hit from, and these fans powered the snow the other way, which was amazing. But guys, you might as well have been naked on the set of Game of Thrones. But like, it's those moments where we actually sit down in huddles, and you know, it's actually like being in the army. You sit and you talk just about everything, like, you know what I mean? Like, one thing that I find about Game of Thrones is it was catharsis. There was one guy, and I always remember this, and I might get emotional through this, but during Stannis Baratheon's camp in season 5, there was a young lad, James, who'd come in.
James Quigley?
Yeah. And his son was terminally ill, and his son passed away, and he came in and he told us that his son had passed away. And he said that his son had passed away the day before. And he come in to Game of Thrones because he wanted to escape. And he said to us, "Please don't offer any condolences. Please let's just do it like any other day at Game of Thrones, guys, because that's what I need." And that's what the show does, guys. It's changed so many lives over the world. One thing it's actually done for me, because me and my father come from very different generations. He left school at 13 to build ships. And I didn't get out of bed till I was like fucking 21, to be perfectly honest with you. But there's one thing that unites me and my father is Game of Thrones. And whenever we watch it, And
Yeah.
I always make a point of journeying to my hometown for every Sunday night, 9 o'clock, and watch Game of Thrones with my father, because the show means so much to him. He can't guess what's happening next. He just can't guess it. Do you know what? You should have seen him after the Red Wedding. He thought that was the show over. Do you know what I mean? But like, it was like just this connection. And then when he sees me actually on the screen, he's just like, how did you do that? It's his favourite television show. And I'll always be thankful for that. That brought me and my father closer together. It made me make some of the best friends that I have ever met. I mean, guys, I didn't know these two guys beforehand. And like, they're now some of the best friends I've ever had in the show.
This guy was best man at my wedding.
I was best man at Bobby's wedding as well. So.
Love these guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
But guys,
Thank you very much for that. Thank you.
you asked about how cold it was.
It was freezing.
And the toilet blocks freezing up. Everyone on set knows that I like a bit of a prank. So any of the new guys that came up, the toilets were froze that night, and they were like, "Oh, guys, where do we take a piss?" So anyone I could, I would send up. So just the field next to us, there was a lot of sheep, and they were kept in that field by an electric fence. So
Bobby's an asshole, by the way.
anybody I could, I was like, "Guys, see that fence up there? Just go up and piss on that." Like,
You were telling me that shit. You were telling me to go up and piss on that fence.
you wouldn't do it.
No, of course I wouldn't fucking do it.
You gotta entertain yourself somehow on these long nights, like.
I suppose. Guys, does anybody else have a question?
I have a question. Oh, sorry.
Over here.
Oh, are we
Yeah.
doing the mic or I don't
Yep,
know?
go
what to
ahead.
do. Okay, yeah, let's do the mic. Everybody
Yes.
do the mic.
The mic,
If you
check the
can.
mic, guys.
Okay, so I am wondering, aside from what Jon ultimately had to do with, killing Daenerys, very sad, do you think, and this has been a debate all weekend with me and other fans, that in the end, Jon kind of gets the perfect ending? Like, do you think that's what Jon ultimately would love to do? Each of you, I'm curious.
Guys, I want to talk about Jon Snow with you.
Hold on. We've only 31 minutes left.
It's going to take more than that.
I know.
So, guys, Jon Snow, from a man who proclaimed Jon Snow the King of the North, I have this to say about him. Right? Still remains my favourite character in Game of Thrones. What kind of man climbs on the back of a dragon? A madman or a king? This is why we follow him. Now, if you look at Jon Snow, guys, and you break him down the middle, he is half Stark and he is half Targaryen, okay? Now, him being half Stark, guys, he carries the blood of the first men, as do the wildlings, okay? The title of King the King Beyond the Wall, guys, is not a title that you receive via any sort of coronation ceremony. You're just named it. That is it. Okay, and that is what that man has become. All right.
Can I butt in?
If you remember, hold on a minute. If you remember, guys, seasons. Whenever you have Alistair Thorne and he's just about to be hung, he's like, "I fought, I lost, and now I rest. But you, Jon Snow, you'll be fighting their battles for the rest of your life." And he's right, because he's King Beyond the North, guys, and he actually unites the northern tribes. You know what I mean? Fucking together, so they're not kicking the shit out of each other. The man is half Stark, half Targaryen, and he has went over to the Stark side. Okay, the blood of the first men. Okay, he finishes the show with the blood, the title of King Beyond the Wall, and the reason. The whole thing with Jon Snow, with me, is he puts everything in front of himself, before himself, throughout the entire show, and he just wants to be left alone. And if you notice something about Jon, whenever he's beyond the wall with the wildlings, he is the happiest he has ever been. Woo! For the simple fact that they do not recognize bastards. Okay, bastards is not a thing beyond the wall, and that's where he feels most at home. And the thing, his final thing where he kills Daenerys Targaryen, is he puts the world in front of himself because he cannot let her go to each place in the world and put her sort of justice in front of those kind of cities, because if they refuse, she will fucking burn them all. And Jon Snow, I fucking loved his ending. I thought, see as he rode off beyond the wall, I thought, yes! Fucking yes, boy! You fucking live in peace, boy! Yes! I fucking absolutely loved it. He remains a king. See that whole prince that was promised stuff, and how he didn't live up to that, you know, this whole prophecy. Of course he's the prince that was promised. He was never king. He was a prince. And he's the son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. And the whole thing about that is, he remains the prince that was promised. He united the north. He brought Daenerys Targaryen to the north to fight the White Walkers. Of course he's the prince that was promised. Of course he is. Fucking fuck yeah! I love him always, guys. Sorry.
Hammer's got a small bladder, but he will be back in a second. So just to add to that, biologically, Jon Snow was 50% Stark and 50% Targaryen. To add to that, he was also at least 75% Night's Watch. The Night's Watch taught that guy a lot of life lessons, especially to do with goats.
He's also fucking stabbed him, but there you go. That's all right, I suppose.
It was a small portion of them.
Oh, it was a small portion.
It was a
Oh,
bad
was it?
portion.
Oh, okay. Guys, is anybody else?
We're all on? Yeah.
Go for it, dude.
Guys, thank you so much for being here and coming all this way.
Pleasure, man.
You know, donating to get, let's give a round just for being here. That's awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Like on the GoFundMe, I was so happy we got that going. Like I ignored the charities or the starving children. Like I need to hang out with these Irish guys. Like, you know, like this is money well worth spent. Let's do this. Let's get them here. So thank you. So Andrew, in the documentary, we get to see you at the very end take off your belt and your costume and you turn it in over the table. And honestly, I got a little choked up at that moment. Like I was not expecting to have those kind of feels. But so my question is, and we're all good friends here, you know, 500 of our closest friends. They do a good job of cataloging everything on the show in terms of merch, you know. Is there anything that, I don't know, maybe found its way into your bag or apartment at the end of, you know, any little souvenir, you know, something that you took?
It's something you don't want to do, honestly. You don't want to sort of take away. I mean, the show gives that so much to you that you don't want to sort of, you know, steal anything from it. I mean, Andrew was lucky enough to get something himself.
Anything that I received from Game of Thrones, I earned it.
Yeah.
And that's a far better way to do it, man. You know, the fact that the base level is that I was able to be a part of the televised version of the story that I have grown up with. There was my very first close-up on the show was in Stannis Baratheon's camp, and that was given to me by David Nutter, and it's me freezing to death. And I have never, it's Game of Thrones on the set, I have never felt so truly alive. Whenever I was given my very first close-up on the show, I had to freeze to death. And they give me hand wraps and covered in candle wax. That's how they actually mimic frost, guys. From the documentary, it tells you that all the snow is actually shredded paper. Whenever you see, it doesn't matter if it's Night's Watch or Stannis Baratheon, whenever you see frost, it's actually candle wax. That's how they mimic the frost. And I had these two hand wraps, two pieces of material covered with candle wax. And I headed to the head of the costume department, Carolyn, and I asked her, can I keep these, please? And she said, of course, Andrew, they're two pieces of material. But like, instead of just taking them, I wanted to ask permission.
Yeah.
And those sit in my I have a Game of Thrones room. So they sit in my Game of Thrones room.
Very cool.
In my house. Anything then, because I worked in the costume department for 3 seasons, I always got the crew gifts and stuff, and I earned those. One of the best things that I ever received was a present from Michelle Clapton, who is the head of the costume department on Game of Thrones. I used to, guys, whenever I wasn't in smashing Lannister skulls, I was in helping clean armor in the costume department or something like that. And I remember arriving in one day in season 8, and they said, Michelle has a present for you. And it was a Hand of the King. It was actually called Hand of the Designer. And it's a badge.
Oh, wow.
It's a pin, and it's actually given the middle finger. It's brilliant. So this was like hammered together by Giampi. Giampi is the Italian armorer. So I managed to get this pin and as a thank you note, and it rests on a bed of material that she had used for concepts for season 1.
Wow.
And I had earned that. And that stuff means the world to me. And it will always remain the world to me. It's just extra special because if you were to go back and tell the teenage boy who had read the story that he was going to fucking proclaim Jon Snow the King of the North, or fight during the long night, or slaughter House Bolton. I fucking hate House Bolton, guys. Nothing enrages me more than the flayed man. I mean, what they have done to my house, the fucking bastards, I will kill them all. So, sorry. Yeah.
Listen, guys, see, whenever Andy says that he earned it, honestly, there's nobody on that set that works harder than this man. Everybody has their jobs that they do, be it cameraman, lighting, directors, extras, actors. They all have their job to do. When Andy's not doing the main job that he's there to do as an extra, he's behind the scenes doing AD work, doing stand-in work, scrubbing boots in the costume department. On his days off, this guy's still on set doing something just to be a part of the whole sort of Game of Thrones experience. And there's nobody else comes close to putting... Everybody gives 100%. This guy gives 200%, man, honestly.
It was an honor to help tell the greatest story ever told. I mean, the Bible has burning bushes, but it don't have fucking dragons in it. You know what I mean? So, you know, awesome.
Let's have a round of applause, guys, for Hammer's bladder.
Yeah, it's so smart, so smart.
Next question.
Next question.
I love you, Andrew,
Thank you.
first of all, but I'm here to be trouble, okay?
We like trouble.
Who the fuck rode the dragons first?
Whose side?
Who rode the dragons first?
First? Daenerys Targaryen.
Thank you.
Is that
No,
debatable?
I'm serious. Your job is to try to make me love season 8, and I did until the 4th episode where she starts to be the bad person. And
She did not start to be the bad person.
I might go to the
well,
toilet again.
okay. Here's the great debate. I never bought that she was the mad,
She was.
insane person until I know.
Inbreeding. They're all riding each other.
Hear me out.
Inbreeding.
Hear me out before you behead me.
Andy is triggered.
I know.
They're all riding each other.
But really quick, because I know this could be a whole nother panel.
Yeah, 20 minutes is all we've got.
I got it. Okay. When she lost all of her friends, which, as you know, as you've told in your story, what a community of folks this is, it also speaks to the story of the fact that she told John not to tell people that this was going to ruin everything. So there was kind of, to me, a betrayal, if you will. Then Tyrion, who said so passionately all the way that he believed in her, that he believed in what she did and what she wanted to do in the kingdom. Then there was Varys, and he turns on her. And all of these people that had supported her, I mean, she's already lost Jorah, she's already lost Missandei, her child when she was little, and her dragons now. And it just felt like it could have gone way differently. And I know it probably wouldn't make any sense for it to be all happy and roses, but I just want to say that, you know, it felt to me like it all happened too fast, and I didn't
Okay.
have
So,
time to
Sarah,
make it,
See before
to
Andy
make
starts.
the,
'cause
to
I
make
know-
the switch.
Andy will have at least a 5 or 10 minute, maybe more, on this. You all been out with a really good friend on a night out on the piss, okay?
That's me.
And you're with that friend 100%. 9 o'clock comes and you're going, this guy's fucking crazy, but as my friend, I'm sticking with him. 11 o'clock comes and you're going, this guy's doing some crazy fucking shit, but he's my friend, I'm staying with him. 1 o'clock comes, you're fucking, he's pushing the fucking limits, like you're going, this guy's fucking mental, but he's my friend, I'm going to stick with him. If that shit keeps going to 3 in the morning, at some point it's going to come where you're going to go, you're on your fucking own, man, I'm away home. Okay? That's similar to fucking Daenerys.
Well, what I've got to say. What I've got to say about the whole Daenerys Targaryen thing, guys, I'm going to start off by saying this. From season 1 to about a bit into season 7, she was always a character who I was indifferent about, even in the books, because, yeah, she's the mother of dragons, she has 3 dragons, and she has this massive army behind her, but I have to say this. In season 8, she entered my top 5 characters because I got to see a Targaryen and how a Targaryen is supposed to be. You know what I mean? The fucking blood of the dragon, fire and blood. One thing that I found with Daenerys Targaryen is that you are introduced to Game of Thrones in season 1, and what you have there is 2 versions of incest. If we look at the Joffrey Baratheon is after 1 generation, okay, and look at how bad he is, okay. Now we flip over to House Targaryen, okay. Centuries of compounded incest, okay. And there have been mad Targaryens in the past, but what you get with Daenerys is everything building up. Hers is the most tragic story in Game of Thrones. But one of my favourite scenes is when Jon Snow climbs the steps in season 8 and she is at the top of the steps. And one thing that I always find about Daenerys Targaryen is she always wants to be loved. And she doesn't get that when she returns to Westeros. The Iron Throne is almost like the Ring of Power from Lord of the Rings. It's the closer you get to it. Look how it destroyed Stannis Baratheon, for example. Okay, Stannis Baratheon to me is just a Greek tragedy. But Daenerys Targaryen, the closer she gets to the throne, she realizes that nobody in Westeros supports her at all. Okay, and she loses her identity through finding out that Jon Snow is the son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark, and he has more right to the Iron Throne. If you imagine that she has this underlying mental illness, this taint, that everybody... One thing I find about all the characters from Tyrion and Varys, everyone is jaded because anyone's better than Cersei Lannister. And they maybe choose to ignore the fact that she has mentioned destroying cities straight away at the start of it's Karth in season 2, you know. Let me in or I'll fucking burn you to the ground. And, the temper of a true Targaryen, right there. Jorah Mormont is, Sir Barristan Selmy, who knows the Mad King better than Sir Barristan Selmy? He tries, please don't do this with the Masters. Do you know what I mean? Don't do this, don't even succumb anyway, even though you think you're right, don't do that, okay? Because you will be, like, not all of them decided that, you know, we should nail those children to crosses. Daenerys Targaryen teeters on falling into the madness, and she does. And whenever she does, whenever I watched it on screen, it was truly beautiful, I thought. Absolutely amazing. I got just fucking the scene at the top of the stairs. The way she is whenever Jon meets her in the throne room, I thought, fucking hell, she's lost it, man. She's just glaze over her eyes and stuff. She's fallen victim to the taint. And her example of Targaryen madness is a mental breakdown. And she just decides, because she's arrived there, and like, oh, as soon as you attack the city, the people will flock to you. And they don't. And she sees that. And then she just goes. It's the way she looks over across at the Red Keep. It's like, fuck your human shield. Brilliant, guys. And the one thing is, one of the greatest battles I've ever been in was the sack of King's Landing, guys, because I tell you what, right? The Golden Company were so easy to kill. It's amazing. There was a guy, I remember him crawling towards a sword. I stood over him and go on. Go on. That's it, you're nearly there. You're nearly there, man. Go for it, right? Just got my Warhammer out. That's it, you're nearly there. And just caved his skull in. It was absolutely amazing, so there you go. Nice.
Next question, guys.
Hey, so thank you guys for being here. I personally think that the Night's Watch are like the unsung heroes of Game of Thrones.
Oh yes.
You know, they're the ones. They're the first line of defense against this.
That is it. We
the
protect
others.
the realms of man.
Bastards and broken men, that's what we are.
But no, I mean, if you think about it, you know, centuries ago it was what it was, and so with that, what was your favorite part about being in the Night's Watch?
Being in the Night's Watch. There's just Stark's pretty awesome to be one of the Northern men. Everyone who was on set pretty much sort of put themselves 100% into the house or into the characters that they were playing. But when I got the call asking if I would like to be part of the Night's Watch, it was like before that it was like, oh man, it'd be cool if I got into be a member of the Stark Army. That would be fucking awesome. Or, oh man, imagine you got in to be one of the fucking Lannister guards with the cool costumes.
Why would you want to be
with the cool costumes? Exactly.
Fuck Lannisters.
Whenever,
fuck them, and the Freys and the Boltons. Fuck them all.
but whenever the call came in, man, just saying, would you like to be one of the Night's Watch? It was like fucking unbelievable. Like it was like, fuck yeah, get me in there, man. The Night's Watch, who wouldn't? Even Andy himself, man, and he'll not admit this. He will argue this point, but Andy, if he hadn't been in the Stark secretly, he would have fucking loved to be in the Night's Watch. He is jealous that he never got to be part of the Watch.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, I'm not a thief. I'm not a murderer, and I'm not a rapist. Why the fuck would I want to be in the Night's Watch? Right? Let me tell you something. I grew up with them books, and I loved the Night's Watch. I love reading about the Night's Watch. I'm like, oh man, the Night's Watch.
There, say, what about Jon Snow? He ain't in it, Andy.
Yeah, what about Jon?
Fucking, I'll get to that in a minute. Hold on a minute, shut up. Right? So I'm there, and I'm like, oh, fucking on the Night's Watch. Oh man, they're so brilliant. They kick ass. And then I get on the show. Right, and I go up to the Night's Watch. I was part of Stannis' army, so obviously Stannis saved the Night's Watch from the
bunch of pricks.
Second a wilding attack on the wall, right? And
that's like
we walked into Castle Black. You shut the fuck up, I'm talking, right? What you get is me coming into Castle Black, right? And you were made to feel so unwelcome. This is our castle. I mean, fucking hell, man, right?
You should have been honored to be in the...
I'm in House Stark. I don't give a shit. I'm in House Stark, guys. It's the best family in the goddamn show. Yeah! These boys are giving me shit because I want to be in the Night's Watch. These boys are chasing goats around fucking Molestown and up with fucking, what do you call it now? I'm running around after 7 girls around Winterfell. So I'm loving life, me. I don't care, House Stark, guys. I was like,
does anybody else agree here that the Night's Watch helped make Jon Snow the man he was?
yes!
Okay, guys.
He's fucking raging. He's raging. Did that include fucking stabbing him as well, did it? Whoa!
Whoa! Not all of us stabbed him, man. There were some good guys in there.
Hammer's okay. Where were you?
I was at Hardhope with John, man. I wasn't one of them.
You fucking aimed a crossbow at me though outside the fucking room.
Yeah, but John was dead at that point, and you gotta follow commands from Sir Alistair. Like.
Bullshit, I didn't. I was in the room with fucking John.
He offered extra sessions with the goats if I had a.
Okay. Game of Thrones is pretty fucking class, though, isn't it, though?
Go ahead, man.
Go for it, dude.
Thank you guys for coming. You made this con so funny. I'll remember it forever. Imagine this, the question to all three of you, to each of you. Imagine if D&D came to you and said, you're such amazing extras that we give you each a kill scene. You take your Night's Watch costume or your Stark or Baratheon costume, and you can choose which character you get to kill, in which episode, and in whatever way you want. Who you choose to kill, how, and when.
Excellent question.
I would bludgeon Joffrey with a hammer. I'd see when he's dead, I'd keep fucking smashing his head in. That's my answer.
There was some concept art that one of the concept artists put out for season 8. Now, the Night's Watch obviously were part of the Battle of Winterfell, but after that, their duty was done, and they headed back to the Wall. But some of the concept art that was released was for the Battle of King's Landing. So the concept artists sort of put up a piece where some of the Night's Watch were actually walking through the camp outside King's Landing up to report back to Jon Snow. Yeah. So I suppose mine would have been to be part of that battle as the Night's Watch and be the one that takes out Cersei. Here we go. Here we go.
Ramsay Bolton.
Yes!
And I wouldn't have done it as quick. What I would have done is flayed him, put him upside down in the courtyard of Winterfell, and had people flick excrement at him. So he died of dysentery over weeks. Weeks. Because that's what he really deserved. That's what I would have done. There you go, guys. I've thought long and hard about that. Long and hard. What they did to House Stark, they fucking needed pain all the way out. The fucking North remembers! Oof.
Thank you guys, that's fun.
Okay, next question, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
In season 8, when in Battle of Winterfell, when Ed died, do you think that Sam should have been out on the front lines?
That's a really good question.
Sam was not a warrior, but he did the best he could. He tried to protect his brothers. He tried to do his part, but he was never put forward or portrayed as being the best battle-hardened warrior.
Then he should have fucking stayed in the crypts.
But no, the Battle of Winterfell brought everybody to the arms. Anybody that could hold a sword, anybody that could do their part to try and protect Winterfell and fight for the North and defeat the oncoming onslaught of thousands and thousands of whites just sort of coming over like a tsunami. Everybody played their part. So he certainly wasn't the best, but he did the best that he could.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a really good question,
Yeah.
though, because when you're watching it, it pulls you, because
Yeah.
you see how Sam's interaction with Ed then leads to that vulnerability where he gets fucking hit. And Ed's such a class guy. He's the next Lord Commander. It's just a really good question, that. Yeah, Sam, I'll be honest, as a fan, obviously in the night's watch, that pissed me off.
Yeah.
I think if Sam had manned up a wee bit, Ed may not have died.
Or maybe not have been on the front lines, you know. Maybe,
Sorry?
Maybe not have been on the front lines. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, I think
And-
the long night though is something that every man had to do. You just came out you had to
Yeah.
go up, and
Regardless
come
of
out,
ability.
regardless of ability.
Every
they
man
needed
was needed.
every man that was needed to fight in that battle. And sure enough, Sam, Ed does die, and like, it's, you know, it's while he's kind of protecting Sam and looking after him to a degree, and he does die there. And that's one thing about Game of Thrones that I've always loved, is because that happens in real life. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, you might protect that friend and you might take some flack yourself, and that's what's happened with Ed. He's been semi-protected. What kind of panel's this? Okay. What we had was like, and that's just sums up Game of Thrones for me.
Yeah.
It's just like, sometimes your hero dies, sometimes the villain wins, and in Cersei's case, sometimes fucking life just hits you like a fucking ton of bricks. You know what I mean? And like, one thing that, like, from the very minute I read the books, I remember reading it, and that's why I love it so much, is because you don't get to fucking choose how the story goes. You just like have to accept it. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I love it so much, and that's why it confuses my father so much. He watches the show, or he watches normal television, and he's able to tell me what the character's going to say next, or what's going to happen next. Game of Thrones, he has no idea. No idea, and that's what confuses him so much. But to answer your question, my dear, I think that 59 seconds. Holy shit. To answer your question, I think that Ed was out semi-protecting Samwell, and it cost him his life.
Yeah.
It did, and that happens in real life.
Yes.
It really-
For the watch.
Yes, for the watch.
Okay, guys.
Yes.
Really quick question. Might get 3 really quick answers with 30 seconds left. Somebody hit us up with a question.
You're a great storyteller, Andrew.
He is. Right, hit us up with a quick question.
Quick question. Now that the long night is over, is there really a need for the watch? I know you guys just got promoted to Lord Commander and First Ranger, and do you think John's up there with Val?
I think I have as the thousandth Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, I have the easiest job of any Lord Commander in fucking history. Like,
It's pretty
enough.
cushy, like you just roam about up north and just
with
have a bit of
5
crack.
With 4 seconds left. Bastards and broken men. Bastards and broken men. That's it. Awesome. Thank you very much for turning
Thanks,
up to our panel, guys. We'll be next door. And thank you very much for having us, guys. It's an honor to come and speak at Con of Thrones 2019. I'd like to do one last thing for you, okay? The King of the North! Fuck yeah! Nice one, guys. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much.